Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Ah, good evening. Um, and if you're going to bed, good night. I could probably put you to sleep with my silly ass voice. All right. Um, Nature versus nurture. I didn't touch on it there. So, nature. We're born with our genetics. Uh, we're learning this. I've been keeping up with the study. You can read The Myth of Normal. It's a really good book. It's really long. But essentially, Uh, you don't have to read it because I already did, and I'll let you know the high points, or you can read it and get your own perspective, and we can share conversation to find a better conclusion. See, that's how it works. All right, so essentially, we're born into our ancestry. Uh, think of it like crops. Each generation is a row of crops. The water's always the same. The fertilizer is always the same. So the plant, well, not always the same. It progresses. So it will enhance certain attributes or dull certain attributes through genetics and each person's ability to do the emotional training during their life. Right? I was born with my father's sins. Well, what I mean by that is I'm born with all the emotional problems my dad has. And he was born with all the emotional problems his dad had. And so on and so forth. Right? So the body evolves. We know that. Well, what makes a human evolve differently? Because we're all different. And we all have different abilities. Genetics, right? Well, and this is some controversial stuff I'll talk about, but I don't care. Um, Intelligence and intuition. Those are my super abilities. A little bit of athleticism, but the cross pollination between my mom and dad. My dad is a superior athlete, and my mom not so much, so that part didn't get enhanced. But my dad is super smart and super intuitive, and my mom is super smart and super intuitive. Genetics, I'm super smart and super intuitive. Now, understand you can learn these things in a myriad of ways. And I'm going to tell you how intuition works in my family. And I mean no disrespect. I love the heck out of you guys. I promise. I promise from all my heart. I love you guys with every fiber of my being. But that doesn't change who we are. And our perspective has to match reality. So, my dad's family is so intuitive and so smart because we pick on each other. And I mean like amazingly. And then when we get together, it's like a session, right? Sit around a table and you see who can get the most laughs by kind of picking at people. And the only reason that works is because you understand emotionally, you feel them, intuition, sixth sense, pineal gland, sees light and dark, scientifically. The sixth sense is your pineal gland and it senses light and dark. But it's the emotional energy, it kind of dials in each one of the levels to make sure that that joke hits where it needs to hit. You understand that person more, you can hurt them more. But the good news for everyone around me is the more you get hurt, it doesn't matter. I learned intuition. So now I got his light in my heart, and then I can find the people that want help. I was told you can only help those that want to help themselves. Well, I want to help you all get to heaven. So the people that believe, I want to connect with you, and I'm not starting a cult. I'm going to start the church of me, but really it's just going to be community centers where we can all get together and share each other's emotions so that we can make them better, turn them into light. See, sometimes as humans we can't turn light, we can't turn some of the real dark stuff into light without help. That's important. We cannot. There's some things you can't handle on your own, so you got to lean on others. You're not weak. Vulnerability is a sign of divinity. Understanding that it's not you and it's God, and God's going to make it work out for you if you want Him to. Sometimes you need people's help. And I forget if I said it in the last video, but if you store things, the things you want to forget in one bucket, they all come out at the same time. I mean, it could take weeks, but it's all coming. So I stored a deployment to Iraq embedded with a SOCOM unit. Took me 3 days to get out. And it's because my spirit was so afraid while I was there. But I had to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So my spirit couldn't pay attention to that. Kind of stuffed all that energy in a way so that I could function as a human. Well, when I came back, holy Moses, I know what PTSD is on the soldier front, even though I'm not a soldier and I only spent 6 months there. I understand. I only had a piece of it, tiny piece of it, to get the perspective. But essentially, when you come home, everything bothers you because your spirit puts you in a place where nothing bothered you. But the spirit wants to come home and take in the environment, and you're extra charged when you get back. And what ends up happening is you keep pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. And God forbid you went to 4 tours, because it's hard to undo this stuff. Because you stored all the dark energy. You're far more likely to, do the bad stuff. That's how it works. Essentially, if you want to think about it, you're a yin-yang. And if you're more black than white, the world finds a way to make you do stupid shit. And if you're more white than black, the world finds a way to make you do good things. And it draws people together. The universe does. If someone's close to healing, they're going to hear me. If someone stupidly thinks going to hell is a better idea, they're not going to listen. I promise you, God is real and the devil is real because we manifested them. It could be a simulation. But in that simulation, we manifest what we want. And good and evil and God and the devil has been in meaning of our lives forever. We've put so much faith into that, so much energy into that it has to exist. And then understand what hell is. I have a working theory, and I don't know if I said this before, your trauma gives you enlightenment. So whoever's got the most trauma gets to know the most universal truth. And I don't think I have the most trauma, so I think others can find the path and stretch the limits of what we need to see. I only got us to this point. We need all kinds of help. I'm the data analyst. I put all the data into order, and then we can discuss on how to make the world better. Set some KPIs, and put it in a business is an organism. Most of the time, the longer it's been around, the more corrupt it is because, the dark is winning. And fundamentally, thank you, one of the Chris's, but, there's the dark path is much wider than the light. So consequently, the longer something exists, the more darkness it's getting. It's just fundamental, unless they get lucky enough to hire a bunch of people with good spirits, but essentially, because there's darkness in the organization will find more darkness. But the good news is, and this is important as it can be, the level of darkness you produce is also the level of light that can become. So although my intelligence was built in darkness, why did that happen? And like I said, it's the crops, right? So the belief in yourself and belief in others. You're born with your parents' sins. And I say fathers, but it's both to some extent. But if you're born in an environment where the smartest person understand that word, gets precedence, gets favor, gets whatever because they're the smartest, first of all, that creates so much darkness because no one's the smartest. God is the smartest, and we're all just accessing the brain. But over my centuries of biology, of X and Y chromosomes, essentially, I was born into an environment where if you weren't smart, you wouldn't survive. In human instinct, the only one we got is survival at the cellular level, which is why it's so weird we can make Secret Service people cover up on people. Because fundamentally, you're undoing the only instinct we got, self-survival. So my intuition is so great because I pick on other people, and my intelligence is so great because there was favor for the people that had the most intelligence, right? And I'm not talking about my house. I'm talking about every house of my XY chromosomes all the way back to the start. And you're born with the trauma that your parents didn't process. Your dad. I got my dad's because my emotions match with him. Women get their moms because their emotions match with him. It's all emotions, all that energy. Oh, I'm at 11 minutes again. Man, that was quick. See, I can talk for hours. All right, I'll be back.